A few meters from Rome's Coliseum is the Franciscan convent of St. Boniface. Back in 1696, St. Leonardo da Porto Mauricio discovered his calling there at the age of 20. He was a friar who in a way prevented the demolition of the Coliseum by giving it a religious sense. He was appointed superior of the convent, but he actually decided to directly ask Pope Benedict XIV if he could leave that position. His heart, he said, was in preaching. He traveled Italy explaining the gospel out in the streets with examples of everyday life. His preaching also made the Way of the Cross tradition more popular. At the time, it was more of a prayer exercise, but he asked for the Pope's permission to recite it in the vernacular. He did not invent the Way of the Cross, but he was the first to give a name to each station, as we know them today, not in Latin, but in vernacular. This room, which was actually an infirmary, was built piece by piece since the old convent was destroyed. It now includes key items like a habit, shoes, and a very special crucifix. This room has a crucifix that he wore during some of his most popular missions, some of them in Italian churches or just out on the street. He would always end his mission with the Way of the Cross. His efforts led to the construction of 500 Ways of the Cross around Italy. The most famous is in the Coliseum. On November 27, 1750, it was inaugurated. It was the first time a religious celebration was held there. He wanted to build the Way of the Cross in the Coliseum in honor of the martyrs who lost their lives in Rome and in the Coliseum. It was built but destroyed a century later. When he led the Way of the Cross at the Coliseum back in 1750, a new tradition began. That's actually why every Good Friday, the Pope prays the Stations of the Cross at the Coliseum. A year later, on November 26, 1751, Leonardo da Porto Mauricio died in the infirmary of the convent. Today, that room is used as a small chapel. It's just another way to remember this patron saint of missions and his work, which has survived over the centuries.